you're making that bridge, and that bridge does not exist.
You can't know it ahead of time if it's not pre-decided.
That's not true.
How does he know it then?
If it wasn't pre-decided,
that's the fucking mystery of being all-knowing.
If it wasn't pre-decided, then it could go some other way, and then he wouldn't be able to know which way it was going to go.
Nope.
If he knows, then he knows the causes that brought it to that ultimate end, and so it's deterministic.
Yeah.
It's not deterministic.
I mean, but so how does he know then?
How does he know? Because he knows everything.
Unless he knows all the possible choices you could make. And that's it.
It's not something he lords over you, because that would just confuse you.
No, we're not saying that he lords it over you. We're saying that
it's like it's confusing you now.
No,
you're saying it's predetermined. See, you're already getting confused.
Cause and effect, predetermined.
But you never really hear about it, because all it does is confuse you.
And the only way that he decided it is by the initial spark of the universe, or what do you call it? The initial domino. In that sense, he did pre-decide it.
Yeah, I'm not saying God like puppets you. It's just that if he knows what you're going to do, then he must know why you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't change the why you're going to do it. So you can't change what you're going to do. So what feels like a free choice to you is really just cause and effect.
Nope.
Why can't you put those two together? $23.
So what? I mean, so what is freedom anyway, or free will at least?
Just start with the idea that you have free will and you can do whatever you want. The fact that a God happens to already know does not lock you into anything.
There it goes.
But so then there unless there's a different possibility, then you are locked in.
You're not locked in, Dopey. He just knows. It's all with him. There's nothing on you. You're not locked in. You can do what you want. He just happens to know what you're going to do. That doesn't force you to do anything.
But he knows what you want. And
yeah.
So
unfortunately he does, yeah.
So there must be some kind of reason that you want that, though.
Just forget it. It's not important. It's all fucking bullshit anyway.
I've tried to argue this with Nard before. I don't know why he can't see the contradiction.
There is no contradiction, you prick.
I just said you can't see the contradiction. Of course you would say there is no contradiction.
Yeah, you know, there isn't a contradiction, but you think there is. Of course you'll say there is. Now we're even.
No, there is a contradiction.
Yeah, you would say that.
And
because you think there is.
It's the fact that you could know in advance, which would mean there is no other possibility. If there was more than one possibility, then at most you could just know the multiple possibilities.
No, that's not how it works.
Yes.
That's not how all-knowing works.
As you reduce it to one, you now do not have more than one. No,
see, you're transferring that over to the human being. There is no transference.
No, I'm not transferring it to the human being. I'm starting with it at the human being.
The human being has free will, can do whatever he wants.
But what he wants is subject to deterministic.
Now you're saying if that's the case, then God cannot know.
Whatever he wants. If he can do whatever he wants, then that means there's multiple possibilities that he might choose, and there's not any one of them that's set in stone.
Right.
So that means God can only know those possibilities. He couldn't know which one you're going to choose, because
we're giving them a
know what you're going to choose yet. It's undecided. We have to wait.
That's the mystery of all knowing.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime there's a fucking something that doesn't make sense in the Bible, I use that word mystery.
Yeah.
I'm not attracted to tall, dark, mysterious men like a lot of stupid fucking women and Christians are.
There is a difference between having free will and some guy all-knowing knows what you're going to choose.
Yes, there's a difference. That's our point.
He knows what you're going to freely choose. That's all it is.
Which means that it's predetermined.
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
It does not mean that.
Yes. If it has not occurred,
he knows what you're going to freely choose.
If there's a thing in the future that's going to happen that you're going to choose to do, and there's no chance, a zero chance that you're going to choose something else, and that one thing is the only thing that you are guaranteed to choose, that means the other things were never an option.
You're really retarded. You know that, don't you? You have your limits, Alphonse.
If you're freely choosing, then how does he know what you're going to choose?
Well, that's the mystery, isn't it?
But that's not an answer.
I mean, if you have multiple choices, that would mean there's multiple possibilities. That would mean there's a chance you could choose A, or there's another chance you could choose B, or there's another percentage.
Well, let's just say this dopey human being has 5 different ways to go, and he's going to choose one. He's going to choose one. Now, nobody's locking him into anything. He's got 5 choices. God's going to say, guess what? I already know which one he's going to choose. And that's as far as it goes.
But that would mean there's zero chance he's going to choose the other 4. They're not even really options.
Well, they are options, and that's what you don't get.
No. It's like saying, I've got a choice to fucking fly.
Don't go with an analogy. Stay with what we're talking about.
There's zero chances that I can choose that. There is zero chance.
You have 5 options. You haven't made a choice. You're going to choose one of them.
Modern animals want.
And you're free to choose anyone you want.
But there's only one.
The mind-blowing thing is God already knows which one you're going to choose.
It's not mind-blowing.
Well, apparently it is, because you can't seem to wrap your head around it.
I wrap my head around it. Look, God knowing what you're going to choose is not hard to wrap your head around. I just am disputing the fact that is in line with the idea that you have free will.
Really?
That's contradictory to free will.
No, it's not.
Yes, because free will implies there's a chance that you could choose something else.
But you can choose whatever you want. No, you can't choose anything after you've already made your choice.
No, I'm not talking about after. We're talking about something potentially in the future.
Right. But he already knows the future. He already knows the goddamn future.
You can only choose one. God knows what it is, which means there's 100% your chance you're going to choose it, and there's a 0% chance you're going to choose anything else.
Yeah, but that's not you. That's not within you. Those parameters are not within you.
Doesn't matter.
No, that does matter. That's all the difference.
No,
that makes all the difference.
The difference between free will and determinism is in free will, the choice is in you, and in determinism, it's not. So when you say that's not within you, you're saying determinism is correct.
I don't know what the fuck determinism literally means.
It's the opposite of free will.
So it's God directing you to do things?
It could be God, or it could be just
physics or chemistry.
Yeah, just the state of the environment.
Like you have certain desires, you make certain choices because of certain.
That sounds like an awfully broad definition of determinism. It could be God, or it could be the environment.
Well, free will is broad. It's
I don't think you can define free will, which is why I don't believe in it.
I don't think you can define determinism.
Yeah, it's cause and effect. Everything falls into cause and effect. It's pre-decided by the previous causes. It was
well, Christians are not going to believe that rigmarole.
Well, Glory Hole does.
No, I don't. Well, yeah, he's a Calvinist, though. That's a whole different animal.
Yeah, the Christians argue about this just as much as the atheists.
I mean, now there's the guy you want to go after as far as choice and as far as free will. There's the guy you want to go after.
Well, no, I agree with him that there's no free will. I agree with determinism. I just don't agree with the fact that God is determining those things like he says. And I also don't agree with the fact that the Bible wholeheartedly supports that idea. I think the Bible has to be cherry-picked. Pointed out, like we both pointed out, there's verses that contradict that. So you can't use the Bible as a reference to prove there's determinism.
You believe in environmental determinism. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
See, I don't.
I know. We've argued.
And I've heard you say how things just rattle off one after the other, and they build one to the next. I understand that, and I don't buy it.
Yeah, I know. We've had this argument many times.
I think that there is more creativity involved than just the next shove that you got from the impetus behind you.
Creativity is just a brain state and a result of previous environments and genetics. It was pre-decided.
No, you're way too fucking locked into fucking garbage. You know that?
There is no attribute like creativity that you can give to a person or their brain or their personality that isn't going to be set in stone by their brain.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Do me a favor. Bring this argument to a radical terrorist Muslim, please.
Get one in here.
No. I want you to go face to face with him.
Oh, I'm not stupid.
Well, please. No, for me. Do it for me.
The radical Muslim might have a death wish, but I guess I do, but I don't want to die that way.
Well, apparently I have a death wish for you.
I'm sure you do. Whenever I fucking blow a hole in your arguments, and
I knew this was coming.
You always get triggered, and you don't actually respond to the argument.
Nobody's getting triggered. You fucking loser, dumb.
Killed by a fucking terrorist. If I get killed by a terrorist, you can put your head back in the sand like the ostrich.
Yeah,
hide from mean old Outbound who has strong arguments.
Yeah, you don't have strong arguments. That's your problem.
Then why do you have to resort to not replying to my arguments and bringing up a terrorist killing me?
Because I'm done talking to you about it. So I would rather just see you blown away.
Yeah, because you got blown away.
No, you're not blowing me away. I've already told you a million times that free will is free will. And just because he knows what you're going to choose, you're not locked into it.
You haven't addressed the contradictions in that statement.
No, you're applying the knowledge that he has to being locked up on your end, and that's not the case.
If you're not locked
up, there's no connection there.
You are ignoring the contradiction. If you're not locked up on your end, you could choose something else, and so then God wouldn't know which one you're choosing.
You're going to choose something.
You have to be locked up on your end in order for him to know the thing you're doing.
No, that's not how God operates. Remember, he's all-knowing.
Well, God doesn't operate anyway. He doesn't exist.
He's all-knowing.
I mean, when you say that's not how he operates, you're not addressing the contradiction. That's almost like saying he doesn't know the future.
You're not seeing the logic of it. You're going to choose one of five. You are going to choose one.
You're presenting contradictions and calling it the logic of it.
All right, so just tell me when I'm misstating something. There's five options. You're going to choose one.
Okay.
Is that a fair enough statement?
Yeah.
Good. That's all you need to know. What God knows is what you're going to choose.
So there's no free will.
See, one does not cancel out the other.
Yeah.
Only in your very limited, finite, dumb mind does one cancel out the other.
No, that they're just stark contradictions from each
No,
other.
they're not contradictions either.
They are.
No, you agreed, right? There's 5 options. You're going to choose one.
I mean,
Just because somebody knows which one you're going to choose, that doesn't mean he forced you to choose it.
I didn't say he forced you.
Well, then what's making you choose that?
I've already described that you have preference.
So you're describing some fantasy in your head about what influences what, and it doesn't exist. The connection is not there.
Oh, you don't have a brain. You don't have brain states.
The connection between those 2 events are not there.
Described as fantasy. There's no brain. There's no brain state.
There's no connection between those 2 events. Him knowing and your choosing. Your choosing and him knowing have no connection whatsoever.
Oh, so he doesn't know.
What did I just say?
Him knowing what you choose is a connection between those things.
Nope.
Yeah. There's
not really. It's not the kind of connection you make it out to be.
There's the thing that you choose, and there's his knowledge of the thing you choose.
Right.
When you describe his knowledge, you are including the thing you choose in the sentence. So they're intrinsically connected.
They are, but they're not forcing you to do anything.
I didn't say they were. I'm saying that they're contradictory to free will.
And they're not contradictory. They're contradictory to a different result. But that's not the same as contradicting your. That's not the same as contradicting your initial free will.
Free will implies that you can have a different choice.
Oh, you're too fucking stupid to understand. Just forget it.
I'm stupid because you aren't addressing a contradiction.
Listen, there is no contradiction, and I've already explained it 8 ways from Sunday.
You haven't. You. Every time I point out the contradiction, you just.
You're not pointing out a contradiction.
I am, and every
you're
time
not.
You're doing the Nephilim thing where you just repeat the thing that's contradictory.
You're out of your fucking mind.
I think it is a contradiction. The mere fact that you can determine it through any kind of omniscient means that it is determined somehow.
Nard's an atheist, but he's about as much fun as a theist, isn't he?
Well, he does make a good devil's advocate.
I try to be.
Yeah.
The guy has free will when there's 5 choices in front of him. There's no denying he's got free will. And he's going to choose one.
You just took away his free will.
But he's gonna...
No, he's been asked to choose one. We don't know which one he's going to choose.
Okay, but...
He's going to choose one for a reason.
Can he not choose that one and choose the other one?
Yeah, but he's going to end up choosing one.
Okay, but if he can choose the other one, then we don't know which one he's going to choose.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
God does.
No, okay, so now you've just narrowed it to one, and the other ones are not.
No, I've narrowed it to the correct choice that he's going to make, which is out of the 5.
One, you can reword it. It still adds up to 1.
No, it's not being reworded. It's being better understood.
No, you didn't increase understanding at all by rewording it.
That's because I'm talking to you.
No, you are reducing it to one choice.
Stop talking. You look silly.
Either there's multiple choices or there's not.
Right. I said there was 5 choices.
Yeah, but then you said there was only 1.
No, I said he's only going to choose one.
See?
Well, we're asking him to make a choice. So he's only going to choose one. That's not correct.
I'm not the one defending free will.
I asked you a question. He's got 5 choices. He's going to choose one. Is that not correct?
Yes.
And he's going to freely choose it. So far, I haven't said anything that's going to make it hard for you to understand.
I don't know.
He's gonna,
The word freely is free from what? From previous influence?
free to choose whatever one he wants.
But why does he want that?
Who cares?
I mean, if we're trying to see if it's determined, if it's causing...
No, don't try to see anything. He has 5 choices. We ask him to choose one, and he's going to go ahead and choose one. Is that not simple enough for you to understand?
I never said I don't understand it. I said it's...
Well, then stop trying to make it more complicated.
I'm not making it more complicated. It's very simple, and it's contradictory to free will.
No, I haven't contradicted anything yet, and you're already calling it a contradiction.
Because you said he's going to choose just the one.
No, I said he's going to choose one.
Yeah.
Not just the one. He's going to choose one because we asked him, choose one.
Okay, so it could be any one of the 5.
Yes.
So it's not just one, it's 5.
He's going to choose one out of the 5.
Right. So does God know he's going to choose one out of the 5, or does he know the one that he's going to choose?
He knows everything, including the one he's going to choose.
So it's down to one. There's no other choice.
No, you see, that's where you make the bridge that doesn't exist.
No, that's where
you cancel out the guy's free will just because somebody knew what he was going to do. Now all of a sudden he has no free will.
Reduced it to 1 and canceled out his free will.
You cannot fathom it.
With Nephilim.
You got to
All
stop.
I did was say that it was reduced to 1. That's it.
Iris. According to God, there's only one that he's going to choose. We all know there's only one.
Your response.
The question is which one?
Your response to me saying that it's just one was that doesn't fucking contradict his free will.
Shut up, Alban. I'm so fucking sick of you. Shut up.
It does.
You're like a fucking idiot.
You automatically knew how that tied into free will.
Oh, I have no idea what you think you know, and I don't want to know. I don't want to go there. I want to remain aloof from your fucking mental mechanism because it just doesn't work for me.
Free will precludes the possibility of prediction.
Really?
Yes.
Well, not if you're God. Not if you give him assign to him the attribute that he knows the past, present, and future. That's the only reason he knows.
You can't just say, not if I ascribe this attribute to him. If 2 things are contradictory, they're contradictory. I can't just say, well, I'm going to ascribe a contradictory attribute to a thing.
So you're saying there's no such thing as a God that knows everything? Including past, present, and future.
I think that the idea of a God is a self-contradictory notion to start with, not because...
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that.
I don't think... not because they know everything. If there was a God, I could see where potentially he could know everything. That in and of itself is not contradictory, but it is contradictory to free will.
Oh, you're out of your stupid fucking mind. I'm so bored with you. You have no idea. Just shut up and talk to, what's his name there? Taylor.
Well, chalk up another win for me.
Yeah, please chalk it up. Because chalk is about all you're made of.
I'm putting your name and the date next to it.
It's the very essence of your being, chalk.
You know, they say they might save us from global warming using chalk.
Go fuck yourself.
What else? What were you gonna slam Neff on? I do like the argument of like why would he just reveal everything to this small tribe of Arabs?
You like that?
I love it.
I'm trying to find this picture of like just how astronomically small that is.
I like when you say Go fuck yourself, because then I know it's time to get the chalk out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neff doesn't have thick enough skin to hang.
Yeah, I
in
know.
there.
It's so ironic that he calls people children too when it happens, because it's like you steal some kid's toy and it's fine. He steals your toy and you're crying about it, and then they're the little kid.
Well, I mean, adults are gonna disagree, and they're gonna try and talk over each other, and yeah, it happens. You gotta try and figure it out.
I just realized how I can orientate you so that you understand.
No,
I really, it just came to me.
You should stop trying to do that. Try to understand the contradiction in what you're saying.
Yeah. It's going to include all of that. Are you ready? You ready for this?
No.
You see, you're a coward.
I'm not a coward.
Well, I just told you I've got the solution to this fucking argument, and you don't want to hear it.
I'm just getting my umbrella out because I know I'm about to walk into some bullshit rain.
Just tell me when you're ready.
I'll be ready when you start to try to absorb the idea that there is a contradiction there.
It's going to include everything you need to know.
If that was true, the only thing you'd be saying is, you know what? I see your point, Outbound.
Well, maybe that's what I'm going to say.
Awesome.
So are you ready? All you have to do is say yes, then I'll enlighten you.
Just say it, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do it.
This is going to be dumb. Get it over with already.
All right, so you want me to go ahead. Is that your rude way of saying yes?
Oh, my God.
Please, Tom, enlighten me. Is that your rude way of putting that?
Enlighten me?
Yeah.
Now you're strawmanning me.
No. All right, here it is. Repeat after me. I am an asshole.
No. You are an asshole. Nard's like, see? Free will.
That's it?
Every single action of God in the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah took place. It's cut off.
Oh.
I freely chose to be an asshole. And God knew that I would.
Inside that little circle. I think I've seen that before. That's good.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Nard?
What?
Click on my screen.
What?
Do you see that? You see the map?
Let me get rid of these fucking avatars. Of God in the Bible. Oh, yeah. Every single action of God in the Bible. Is that what I'm supposed to be reading?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because his avatars on his screen are covering it. Can't you erase them, Taylor?
Huh?
Can't you erase your avatars so that I can read it?
You're supposed to be looking at his screen, not mine.
Oh.
I can read it to you though. It says every single.
I am looking at his screen. I'm asking him to fucking.
Oh my God! No, you're not.
Yeah, I am. I clicked on Taylor.
Listen, it says every single action of God in the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah took place in that little circle.
Okay, wait a second. I see it now. Every single action of God in the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah
took place in that little circle.
Inside that little circle. Where is the circle? Oh, there it is.
The circle's actually smaller than that, actually.
Yeah, okay, all right. That goes to my point that you were saying you liked, right?
Yeah. I haven't even talked to Neff about that.
That's disturbing. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know what Neff would say. He'd say no, because there was a global flood.
He'd say that's where people started from, or something like that.
Think about this too. Think about this. There were some people having some gay sex in that little circle. So he did a flood to kill all the life on the whole fucking planet.
And then never again.
And it was all for nothing because gay sex is back now.
Well, if they were having gay sex, then they turned that circle into a brown circle.
Right.
Hey, what happened with Nard and Evan? Did Evan rage quit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ended up telling him to go fuck himself.
He rage quit because of me first time. Then he came back, and I kind of backed off a little bit, and then he left because Nard was telling him to fuck off.
Yeah,
but at first I became a Christian, and I was helping clarify his position because Outbound's a thick-headed fuck who likes to talk over people.
Yeah, you do. You do incessantly walk over people, Outbound. You're very impulsive when you talk.
Oh yeah, Down's the one to criticize me about that.
I keep telling them judo is the way to get the floor.
Listen, Down. I was trying to tell him that Christians can break all the fucking laws in the Old Testament they want, and they still get to heaven. The Old Testament laws are worthless. They don't even matter. Is that wrong?
Yes.
Yeah, it is wrong because
by using the word "want," you put in askew.
Because the evangelicals like hillbilly argue that basically, but people like Evan are a little different. Nephilim free, that is.
Well, I was saying according. I mean, I'm talking about according to Nephilim's.
I got to take my medication. I forgot to take it. Hang on a second.
As soon as you phrase it, all the laws that they want, that's how you misstate it.
We already broke down that phrase, all you want, and you agreed with me, and you forgot already.
No, I didn't. I'm telling you, as soon as you say that, you misstated.
We talked about the spectrum of want versus don't want. You remember that, Taylor, when he agreed with me?
No. I have always said it's a matter of attitude and sincerity. You cannot say all you want.
How come you don't want Taylor to answer? Do you agree with me, Taylor? Didn't Nard agree with me about that?
I was looking at your 5 statements. And
why are you not letting him talk?
Because I can answer you. That's why. You're talking about me.
For your opinion, I'm asking Taylor what he remembers.
He agreed with part of it, like.
Exactly. And the 5 statements that he made, I was agreeing with.
I'm talking about the part where we were talking about anything you want and like the
want. See, as soon as you say it that way, it's wrong.
The want versus don't want spectrum. Do you remember?
No. It's not want versus don't want.
Nard, shut up.
Well, you did. I think you did say that.
It's want versus can't resist.
I'm talking to Taylor, Nard.
That's been my message from the beginning.
I'm talking to Taylor, Nard.
Yeah, so you're a pussy.
I'm talking to Taylor.
I think he did say that the desire, the temptation overpowering your resistance, equaling wanting to do it makes sense.
Yeah. Do you remember when I broke that down and I said everything you do has a want and a don't want, and when we say you want to do something, it's referring to the situations where the wants outweigh the don't wants?
Yeah, I understand that logic. You're getting into a chemical analysis.
You agree again.
No, listen, you fucking stupid fuck. That's breaking it down like a chemical analysis, and I agree with that. But when you say, "Oh, I can do anything I want," that's a whole different.
No, there's no Christian saying I can
do. That's a whole different spin.
You're doing this again, where you're putting.
You know what? Go and fuck yourself.
You're doing this again, where you're making a statement, making it a statement of a Christian instead of.
Join Ephraim.
Instead of a statement from me, an outside viewer.
Have sex with Ephraim.
Ugh. They can break any fucking sin they want.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right.
As long as they do it self-flagellating. And they feel bad about it.
Yeah,
they're going to feel good.
it's really subjective. Like, how guilty do you have to feel? How
Right.
much do you have to want to resist the temptation but fail?
There's no. It's too much of a fucking. There's no. You can just call a freebie on every single one of them. Like I said before, there's no situation where somebody.
Call a freebie on it. God will not.
There's no situation where a person goes to heaven. Like, for sure, they have good intentions and they're going to go to heaven. There's no sin that person can commit that is going to stop that. And they are going to commit sins. And it's going to be the ones they want to commit. So they can commit any sin they want and still go to heaven.
Including trying to game God, as long as you believe in Jesus. Isn't trying to, like, buck the system a sin?
I don't know if I've ever... Actually, I don't know if it is. I don't think I've ever heard that. That's kind of subjective, because you could say that wanting to buck the system means your intentions are bad.
See, what Ephraim was saying was...
You're saying all that's required is faith in Jesus.
Even fucking messier than it was before, Snake.
What Ephraim was saying was, if Jesus tells you you're saved, that already means that there's no way you're going to fuck up. Because he's not going to save you if you're not worth saving.
No, you
actually, how does that work anyway? He saved you because he died, isn't it?
Yeah, you're gonna fuck up. You're gonna fuck up whether you're saved or not.
You know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't even want to try to make heads or tails of that nonsense.
You're gonna break. You're gonna sin. You're gonna break.
Yeah, I don't care, Outbound. Shut up.
You're gonna
Outbound. Shut up.
You're gonna do the sins that you want to do.
Yes, Outbound. We're gonna do everything we want.
That's right.
It's a party.
You can't make a decision that's not
exactly. Of course you can.
You can't.
What else?
How could you ever do anything you don't want?
That's what I say.
So what do you want to talk about then?
Nothing. He said it all.
Huh.
I wish Nephilim would have stayed and answered me about the Jesus thing, because I've always felt. Have I told you how I feel about that, Snake?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so the adulterer is caught in the town. People want to fucking stone her to death.
Here we go.
Jesus says, "He who has not sinned, cast the first stone." Now, if we break that down, why were they wanting to kill her? It's because it's in the old law. It was law that you stone adulterers to death, right? So if we do not stone the adulterer, that's a sin because you've just broken the law. And Jesus was suggesting that he who has not sinned, which would be someone who has never broken the laws, would cast the first stone. And of course, none of them have never broken the laws. Everyone's a sinner, right? So they've all broken the law. So really what he's implying is that if you've broken the laws before, then don't throw a stone at her. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if and throwing the stone at her is the law, like it's a sin not to. So he's basically saying if you broke the laws before, break them again now. If you've sinned in the past, sin now.
Well, I don't think he's saying to sin again. He's just saying
he's implying it. He's implying it. He's saying he who has not sinned, follow the old law and stone her. He who has not sinned, cast the first stone. So if you've never broken the law before, then follow it now.
But he's just saying that,
which implies that implies that if you have broken the law before, that you should break it again now.
No, he's just saying it's okay if you do. He's not saying you should. It's just okay.
Yeah,
which is
so
like being complicit.
okay.
But
I can buy that. I can change it to that. So if you broke the law before, then it's okay for you to break it again now.
Outbound. He's setting up the new covenant. The new
I
covenant
know
is.
that's fucking narrative that doesn't address.
Yeah, it does.
Does not address the old law. You're just quoting. You're just making shit up that's not in the Bible. Jesus tells you to follow the old law. He never tells you to break it. There's nowhere in there where it says there's a new fucking covenant.
Well, yeah, there
he
is,
says that you
because
can be
and
saved
anytime
right if
you
break
tell
it.
somebody that you're going to heaven if you believe in me, that's a brand new fucking covenant.
No, because the rules are that you're supposed to have those intentions. Remember, you're supposed to intend to not break the law. If you do break it, you're supposed to repent, and you're supposed to try to not break it again, right?
No, the message of the New Testament. No, the message of the New Testament is accept Jesus and you're going to heaven. That's the new covenant.
So you can break any laws you want.
That's number one.
So you can break any laws you want, and you.
And so we're right back to the same argument. So you see how you fucking didn't get anywhere?
You are the one who just said that.
I didn't say anything except what I just said.
I said that you have to try to follow the laws, and you said no. You have to believe in Jesus.
I didn't say no. I said the new covenant.
You specifically said no.
The new covenant supersedes it in importance. It's more important that you believe in him.
All right, so that means it's still an effect. So there's this other thing that's more important. So that means this thing still is important. So you're still supposed to try to follow the old law.
Yeah, you're worried about following the old law.
I'm not worried about it.
What he's saying in that is he's setting up his arrival through the new covenant, which is, you guys need to stop judging each other and you need to believe in me and then do your best. Do your best. Don't run around stoning people. Yeah, it's the law, but you know what? This is the new covenant.
But your best is so subjective.
You're just making all that up, Jesus.
No, I'm not, because that's his message. It's compassion.
That is not his message.
It's not retribution. It's compassion.
That is not his message. That's just what some Christians say is his message.
No, it's what I get out of it.
Show me where you got that, because I don't think you did get it from the Bible. I don't think you got it from Jesus. I think you got it from Christians.
These guys,
well, that's from
you had a guy come to him and say, I'm not even worthy that you come into my house. I'm a sinner. I'm this, I'm that. But, if only you say the word, such and such will happen. And so he granted him what he wanted him to, because he did the most important thing, which was acknowledge Jesus.
But isn't that exactly what I was saying about?
No, that's compassion. That's him dismissing his sins and saying, you believe in me, all you have to do is try not to fucking sin anymore. He'll always end up telling him, sin no more. But the first thing he loves is that the guy acknowledges him.
You just said that the guy had regret because he was a sinner.
Right.
Which is exactly what I was describing with trying not to break the law, repenting. You know what I mean? You're supposed to try to follow the law. Which part of the law says stone her to death? Yeah.
Well, again, that's where you get into, again, understanding that there's something new happening. And that this is a guy of compassion.
Oh my God.
And he doesn't want to see this woman who's a sinner be stoned to death.
I described this new thing happening in the same, I'm analyzing your description of this new thing, and you're telling me I don't understand it. It sounds to me like you're criticizing yourself. You don't.
That's because it's you talking. You're so silly. It's ridiculous.
No, I'm not silly. You presented the story of Jesus going into this man's house. I'm not presenting that. If that is a misrepresentation of the new story, that's yours.
The story about he who is without sin should cast the first stone is demonstrating his point.
I agree that demonstrates his point, but it violates the point he was just making about the guy going in the guy's house, and it contradicts all the other verses where Jesus says you have to follow the old law, and there's multiple situations where he says that. That was my whole point, is that that's the one story in the Bible, that adulterer story where he says, "He who has not sinned cast the first stone." That story contradicts Jesus's message everywhere else in the Bible when it comes to the old law.
The Bible contradicts itself on every level.
Except if you look at the new covenant, which is more of a compassionate dealing with sinners. It's a more compassionate dealing with sinners.
Covenant, and you cannot show me one verse that shows such. What were you saying, Taylor?
I forget. My train of
thought. The only thing you can show me about a new covenant is the verse that I brought up, the "He who has not sinned cast the first stone," and that doesn't mention a new covenant.
No, it's not being illustrated there, but it's in line with it.
As a matter of fact, it's fucking outlining the old covenant. It's in contradiction with the old covenant.
You know, I do believe you're possessed. You're hung up on a fucking story, and that's your whole life.
I think that's the biggest fucking.
First of all, the new covenant was spoken of all through the New Testament. I don't know what the fuck you think you're saying.
Show me one verse.
You're stupid. I gotta go find a fucking Bible and show you how many times Paul was talking about it.
I've argued about this with many Christians. I've looked it up many times. All the verses that they tell me proves this. I've read them all, and none of them prove it. Not one. I would love to be shown the one that does.
Uh-huh.
So what was Jesus? What's the point of Jesus?
What's the point of Jesus? Like, scripturally, he's just a huge contradiction. And actually, Nard will tell you all about how
the Bible is full of contradictions.
This is the thing, right? The meaning of, like, what's the point of Jesus? That's a fucking tricky thing to talk about. I'll give credit to Nard. He will tell you how Jesus is not the Messiah that was described in the Old Testament. He was absolutely not. Yeah. So, in my opinion, if there's any motivation behind Jesus, it's just a story they made up so they could get out of that old law. Like, that is exactly what they were trying to do. Although they never clearly state that that's his purpose. They basically dance around the issue so that they can pretend like they're still Jews and that they're falling into this prediction of a Messiah. They have to flat out say that they accept the old law. They have to, because if they don't, then they can't be the Jewish Messiah.
See, now you're cheating and taking my atheistic condemnation of Christianity and turning it against me. And I'm trying to be a good Christian here, and you're fucking all up.
I think that they never. I think Jesus never really flat out states that you're getting rid of the old law. Although I do think that the people who made him up were definitely trying to finagle that. Although they did a horrible.
He's saying that you can be saved despite not following the old law.
I'm pretty sure Paul says the words "new covenant" some number of times.
Paul, the verses in Paul that I've heard referenced before, that I've read many times, they do talk about how the old law used to be the path to righteousness or whatever.
Right.
Actually, that's not how he words it, but
it's the path.
It's the same thing, yeah. And he says now the path is through Jesus. But I don't care. To me, that doesn't work as far as chucking out the old law, because the path through Jesus is that he died for your sins. You're supposed to believe in him, accept him. You're supposed to have a personal relationship with him. You're supposed to repent to him of your sins and say, God, I'm sorry I sinned. I'm sorry I didn't stone that fucking adulterous bitch to death. I'm sorry I didn't follow your laws. Next time I go out to town, I'm going to throw some fucking rocks at that bitch. I'm going to follow your law. I'm going to try to not break your law anymore, and we'll stone her. That to me is what that fucking means. Now I understand that they were trying to. Paul is not trying to imply that. I get that, but I think it's a fucking dirty trick. I think it's it's contradictory. I think it's a con game. I think it's a fucking well developed con game.
Well, but Jesus is in on the con as well. He's right there, and he's contradicting the fucking law.
He didn't exist.
But I'm saying the
only time Jesus is ever in on the con is
no, he was right there with the whore and being stoned. He was right there, and he was saying things.
Yeah, the only time he ever is in contradiction that I'm aware of is with the whore, and there's actually one more, which is it's a little weaker, but it's when there was the Pharisees caught a guy eating in the field.
Yeah.
And Jesus said something similar of like, I don't, you know how Jesus words things. He's real fucking slick and poetic, but
not really.
Yeah, he is. He who has not sinned, cast the first stone.
That's a good one, but you know.
Well, he does another one of those with this thing. It's like basically like, well, the guy's starving, let him eat. You know.
Yeah.
I can't remember how he says it, but oh, no, actually, I just thought of one more. The cart in a ditch thing with people who are working. On
the Sabbath.
That isn't one more. I forgot. Those two are the same thing. It has to do with Jesus feeding the guy, and they're like, "Why are you doing that on the Sabbath?" Like first they're like, "Why are you feeding this guy?" And he's like, "Well, I'm doing God's work. It says to feed the hungry, right?"
Right.
And then they go, "Well, now you're doing work on the Sabbath," and he goes, "Well, if your cart falls in a ditch on the Sabbath,
right."
Yeah, so I guess that's all one story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That one's not quite as strong as the adultery one, though. I think because there's Old Testament stuff that talks about feeding the poor as well. I think there's charity in the Old Testament, isn't there?
Charity.
Yeah, it's God says you're supposed to
be charitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
I think it is. I think that's in there too. So, but that contradicts with don't let people steal.
Outbound. You're not talking to a real Christian. Shut up already. I don't like these conversations, even with Ephraim or anybody else. They're boring. And that's why I end up taking his side. That's how bored I am. I start clarifying his position, and I'm yelling at you. But you're transgressing anyway. You're talking over him, and you're not going to relent. You suck.
No.
Yeah, you suck.
I did relent. He went on a fucking 5-minute narrative, and I said nothing.
Oh, shut up.
I hate it when people do this because I get attacked for interrupting. And
yeah,
and I will make sure that the other person gets ahead of me on time.
Uh-huh.
But then I'm still not allowed to interrupt.
You have to know where they are in their speech to know how reasonable it is, whether they're running long or not, to let them finish. You have to know where they are in their point.
No, I don't. If
it's critical for them to get another few words out, you let them go, even if he's already running long. But you haven't learned that fucking lesson yet.
I get interrupted all the time, and the most I'll do is say, "Shut up. Let me finish. Shut up. I'm not going to go. You're interrupting me. You better stop or I'm going to leave. Let's act like adults. You're a child. That's it. I'm leaving." It's fucking, what the hell? It's fucking stupid.
It's better to
everybody
yield
does it. I just do it more.
Just have like just a mishmash of just dead air, and or not dead air, but just you can't even hear what's going on. And the conversation can't go any further, so it's better to just like let the other person go on for a little bit than just halt the conversation.
Some people are way better off than others because, like, we were talking with Jeremy that one time, and we had a fucking long conversation. And
that's horrible, but like
me and you, and it was us two on Jeremy, and we were both interrupting him, and he would interrupt us. And it went very fucking well. I actually have more of a problem with Nard than I did fucking Jeremy. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. For some people, it's not a fucking problem. People who are generally wanting to have a conversation, just because they've only started a statement doesn't mean they can't allow someone to interrupt them.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe sometimes you'll want to fight it, but that doesn't mean you can't ever let it happen. Or I'm going to leave.
Yeah, I think he just likes to talk. Yeah.
You know what? I have to admit, actually, that one with Jeremy probably went better because SFT was moderating a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty fair, though, which surprised. Is he always that fair?
Outbound.
Yeah.
No, actually, I know he's not. When it's him versus you, he's not that fair.
Outbound. Talk about going in
he makes cheap shots.
Talk about going in a complete circle. I started out clarifying his position, and I ended up telling him to go fuck himself.
I know.
He was complaining about that's because he just got done interrupting you, and then I started interrupting him again because, like I said, I gave him like a 5-minute interval, and then you started responding to him. He started interrupting you. And so I started interrupting him again, and then that's when he wanted to complain. And it's like, wait a minute, you just went on you just got the floor.
Outbound. I didn't want to hear a whole replay of what happened. I was just trying to highlight the contrast between how I was when we started.
Why were you saying fuck off then? Like it was to me that
there was a reason in there somewhere. I forget now why
I think I'm right. I think it was because of that.
What was it again?
He was being unfair with the interrupting thing.
Oh, no, I don't think I don't worry too much about interruptions.
No, he was worried about it. You were tired of him being worried about it.
No,
it was the
I
bag
don't
of
think
chemicals
so.
thing.
I don't think so.
Maybe
I did lose patience with him. Maybe I did. I don't know.
Yeah, because he like I said, he went on. I stopped, and he went on. And I only started again because he was interrupting you. And that's when he started whining like a baby about it again. And that's
but I don't usually like to get hung up on interruptions. It was something. It was his attitude that just pissed me off.
Because he said, "If you keep interrupting me, I'm going to leave." He said that again.
That's probably when I told him to go fuck himself.
Yeah, you were like, "Oh, God."
All right. So the real reason I got pissed is because you punk out like that, and it's such a faggot fucking thing to do. That's what pissed me off.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. It is
you're talking about interruptions, and I try not to get involved in it. I try to smooth them over. But when you're going to talk about leaving the fucking room, now you're pissing me off.
Yeah, I agree.
Whatever the fucking reason is.
No, it's not whatever. Imagine this. Imagine I didn't give him that 5 minutes. Imagine I just steamrolled him endlessly, way worse than I was already doing. Then you would fucking like. Actually, I don't even have to go that bad. If we back up to the first time he left,
that's a good example. I know what you're saying. That's a good example.
If we just back up to the first time he left, you chastised me and you weren't.
I would have been yelling at you. You're right. I would have been yelling at you.
Yeah. So that's what makes it a faggot thing is he's being extremely unfair, and he's like, I can, and you can't.
No, I don't worry about who's. Again, I told you, whether you're running long or short, if there's a few more words you need, you let it go. There was something about his attitude that just fucking turned me off. It wasn't about the interruptions. Both of you can go fuck yourselves with that.
It's the
it's the question that is so petty that if you threaten to leave the room over something so petty, that's what pisses me off. Yeah. Not the actual subject matter of which I am bored. It's that it's so petty because that's what happens with us all the time.
You're not being charitable enough to me.
Yeah, that's the
look. You're calling
the ongoing challenge when you're in these rooms.
Why
the last thing you want to do is punk out over it.
Why is it petty the second time, but the first time it wasn't?
Nobody was weighing in on what's petty and what wasn't back then.
You just said it was petty just now.
Yeah. So I didn't say it wasn't petty the first time. I didn't weigh in on that.
You chastised me instead of him.
Oh, well, probably because you were rolling over him.
I was rolling over him.
Well, then that's the reason why I yelled at you.
Yeah. That's because if I'm rolling over him, it makes him leaving not petty. It makes it you kind of understand why he would want to leave.
Yes, I agreed with you a long time ago about that. I said it was a good example.
Yeah, so that's what it's about are you being fair with your interrupting?
No. Are you being petty? That the problem of interrupting.
If you're not fair with it. You're petty. Those are the contrasts.
No, listen to me, Dopey. It's an ongoing. It's an ongoing challenge. This business of interrupting and talking over. That's the last thing you want to jump out of a room for, if it's at all possible. If you do, that's petty.
Right.
I'm just saying that's an ongoing challenge in this room. So don't let it fucking throw you out of the room, because if you do, that's a poor attitude.
But that's
what pisses me off.
If somebody's steamrolling you too much, then it's not petty anymore.
No, if somebody's steamrolling me too much, guess what? I let them, because eventually that's my approach, and you know it. Then I come in after.
I'll only threaten to leave if he's like telling me.
Because I'm not fucking petty. I'm not going to leave because some idiot's steamrolling me. I'm going to let him go.
Chastise me for steamrolling him.
Well, because I know the results, and he left, and you shouldn't have had. Not everybody's as cool as me. What do you want from me?
Well, there's a lot of people that deal with. There's a lot of people that don't. I don't care. He's going to sit there and repeat himself.
No, you won't leave. You'll never leave a room if somebody's steamrolling you. You'll just go into a mental patient mode and just start talking. Like you did that fucking day that I was fucking laughing hysterically. Do you remember that? Do you remember what I said?
I had my volume up. You could hear me.
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you were talking in a low, monotone voice. Because everybody else was screaming.
Yeah, but I have a program. I turned my volume way up louder than theirs, so I was able to talk in a low voice and still overpower them. That's why I did that. It's not.
That's pretty good. That's funny.
It's not a mental case thing. You weren't the only one that could hear me. They could.
No, you sounded like a fucking mental case. I didn't say you were.
Well, they could all hear me too. I guarantee it.
Well, I guess that's what you did, because, I mean, it's not like it was a loud voice, but it was recognizable amidst all that yelling. Your monotone voice was coming through clear.
Yes.
And it just made me laugh. That you just were like, it's as if you were actually talking to someone.
It's as if they weren't talking at all. And that's why they were screaming and going nuts, because
that's why it still cracks me up.
See, I could just I could just talk like this. They're all screaming, and I'm loud as fuck. I don't have to raise my voice. I don't have to scream. I can talk over you and talk over. And I didn't do this to Neff, but he still was such a baby. Fucking.
Yeah, it wasn't overmodulated like that.
Well, that was probably worse because I turned it all the way up, and plus it's not competing with the other screamers. But you get the point. Like, I can turn my shit up.
Yeah.
That was max.
Yeah, I think they're going to do another stream tomorrow night. SFT will definitely be there. If you want to talk with him again.
Yeah, you can just hit me up anytime they're doing shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eventually, I'm probably not going to be allowed there anymore either because I think, I don't know, maybe it depends. It depends how bad they want Neff there. Because eventually Neff is going to say, I refuse to be in a room without Bound.
Yeah, I mean they already
They're-
chickened out of like ever going on the non sequitur show ever again, just because they got cussed out.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Like Aaron Ra, Nephilim Free stood in for Kent Hovind, and Aaron Ra just cussed him out.
Nard. Cussed who out?
Nephilim.
That. Yeah, I
Because it
remember
was
that.
finally like Neff had been like harassing Aaron Ra for so long, and he refused to debate him because no one would recommend Neff. But
Yeah, I think that whole thing was just fucking Arn was drunk. They shouldn't have had him on that day. But
All right, not for nothing. It's
he could have
3:30.
toned it down a
Go
little.
fuck yourself.
I would
Nard,
like to see
What?
that debate.
What?
I made a video.
Yeah. So what?
It's called "Let's Talk About Venezuela," episode 1,
Oh my god.
and it's called "Telesur: Study 80% of Venezuelans oppose foreign intervention."
They do?
Well, that's the title of. Let's talk about
I don't know. I can't blame them. I mean, if they think they can solve their problems.
Do you see my screen?
I do now, and I don't really want to be here looking at it.
This is Telesur, and that's the name of their article. That's why I named the video that, because I was going over it.
Well, I mean, who wouldn't oppose a foreign intervention? I mean, what kind of a fucking...
well, if your government is treating you like shit, yeah, you might want to go, hey, come save us. But
yeah, or you handle it yourself.
I'm trying to show you something.
What?
Look at this comment this guy left me.
My God.
He wrote me a fucking book.
And is it any good? What's the gist of it?
I just opened.
Okay, let's talk about it. All right, let me just see how he starts off. Wait. Think on the up and up. Look at what happened a couple times. Smartmatic tried to expose the fraud of the one. And in the Venezuela elections, overall, it had a very detrimental effect on the health of one co-founder of the company. In the scope of the fraud, I don't know. Who is Smartmatic? Is that a fable of some sort that I'm not aware of?
I don't. It sounds like an organization. The hell?
Sounds like a character somebody made up on the internet, and I'm just not up on it.
It's an electronic voting company.
Oh, really? And they tried to expose the fraud of the one in caps. What's that? ONE.
No, CNE.
Oh, that's the C. I'm sorry. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Fraud of the CNE. And all right, fine. Who cares? I'm gonna look up CNE just for the hell of it.
That's who runs the national elections in Venezuela.
Oh, really?
The National Electoral Council.
So he sounds like he's got like some inside fucking dope on all this shit.
I don't know. I mean, in my video I give their opinions like this, but I also said like, give me some fucking evidence. Like, where did he? I don't want just claims. Smartmatic is a voting company. Well, if it's a U.S. based one, I've heard bad things about those companies.
Really?
They've been caught doing fucked up shit to our elections. So I'm already wondering where he's getting this information from. Who's reporting it?
Right.
Is it people that have a vested interest in making Venezuela look bad?
It's like you can't trust anybody anymore.
I know. And I'm not saying that I trust Venezuela as part of the story either. It's like, I even say that in my video. I say like, I'm not really sure who to trust.
I mean, we're hiring people that are fucking up our elections.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean,
but that's that comes with the territory of being a fucking idiot human. We suck. We fucking suck.
Yeah. I agree with you about that.
Oh, there isn't any. If there's anything that we can do that's wrong, we're gonna do it.
I still think it's important to vote because obviously the vote has the potential to influence. Otherwise, they wouldn't be trying to fuck up the vote.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Yeah, you just fucking vote anyway.
That's the best idea we've come up with so far.
Yeah.
Re-elections.
Yeah, this is I'm gonna
you're gonna have to fucking look at it.
I'm gonna go through this.
Good. Do it on your time.
And you should subscribe to my channel so you get emails when I make videos. That way you can take notes in your spare time.
All right, we'll worry about that later.
Yeah, we'll worry about it later because I got something more important to show you. So shut the fuck up, Outbound.
Do you? What do you got? You got something to show? On the Nebraska map?
What do you notice, Nard?
I don't know. Let's see. It's traveler information. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what the key says. Cameras, traffic speeds, weather stations, cloud traffic. Oh, this is a weather thing?
No, it's not a weather thing. These are fucking roads.
Yeah.
Is red good or bad on a road?
It's usually stop.
Look at how many reds there are.
Oh, because of the flooding.
Look at all the reds. Look at this. There's fucking like over fucking 300 of them. Look at this.
Is it because of the flooding?
Yes. Look at this.
I told you it was fucking weather oriented. What's the matter with you?
It is weather oriented, but I'm talking about the roads. I'm not talking about some fucking snowfall.
Yeah. Right. You weren't actually giving a forecast. You're showing the results.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a fucking mess.
Look at this.
Where are you in this mess, Down?
I am somewhere up here in that green spot. So,
really? Look.
So to my left, I can't go anywhere.
You were half surrounded by bullshit.
I'm not that far. Yeah, I'm about right above that red shit. No, right below it. Sorry, I'm right below it. I'm right. Hang on.
Yeah, how can you tell what street is what? All I see is lines.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a couple of lines. Can't you zoom? You zoom in. There you go.
So I'm in this general area right here, the green spot. The green spot's good. And then if I want to go left, I'm fucked. If I want to go up, I'm fucked. If I want to go down, can't do it. I want to go here, can't do it. I want to go here, can't do it.
Oh well.
So how the fuck is the goddamn food truck gonna come into town for delivering groceries and shit? That's what I want to know.
Well, eventually.